Welcome to Living a Full Life podcast. Join us as we explore health topics that encourage raising healthy children, living a healthy life, and living the best life possible. Now, here's your host.
Today, we're talking about one of the most common complaints in modern life, low energy. But here's the truth. If you constantly feel drained, sluggish, or burned out, it's normal and it's fixable. By the end of this episode, you'll have a toolkit to take back your energy physically, mentally, and emotionally. Thanks for joining me. I'm Dr. Enrico Dolcecore, and welcome to another episode of Living a Full Life. And energy is one of those things that we talk about all the time. And no, there is no quick energy drink that's going to fix low energy. Let's discuss the things that are really causing our low energy from a hormonal perspective, a stress perspective, and all the perspectives that you've probably heard of before, but may have been putting aside and not really living eye to eye with. And what happens over time is our energy does reduce. And we're going to go through a bunch of things that I hope you can take home with and make some changes that will help you improve your energy and maybe others as well. So let's go through what it means for low energy. And no, it's not just you getting old. Yes, when you were 15, you had tons of energy, or when you were 8 years old, you had tons of energy. But what ends up happening over time? Is it really just an aging process, or is it really just a bunch of other things that are taking a toll on us, like stress? And there's really hidden energy killers that we're going to go through. And there's podcasts about this everywhere. Nothing here is going to be revelationary, but what you're going to hear is that these are the things that are really starting to drain your energy over time. And by the time you get to the point of now where you do feel low energy, it wasn't something that happened over the weekend or over the last 5 months. It's something that's been happening year upon year, over and over again. And your body's really craving for something to change. Otherwise, it can never really balance and get its energy back. And so the number one thing that reduces our energy is poor quality sleep. You got to think about how you used to sleep as a kid or as a teenager. They could barely wake you up in the morning. You didn't want to wake up. You were sound asleep, slept through the night, and was really tough to even wake up in the morning. Your body craved that healing time to rejuvenate and re-energize. And as time goes by and life starts to have more and more implications of work and school and college and kids and waking up and doing all the other things for everyone else, our sleep starts to take effect. But you need to take a step forward and make sleep your priority, or else really this is going to be a grind trying to get your energy back. So it's not just quantity of sleep, it's really fragmented sleep equals hormonal imbalance. Not getting into the circadian rhythm during our sleep causes a bunch of hormonal changes in the body. And these start to build up upon the years as they go by. So by the time we're in our 40s and 50s, we start to really have a hard time sleeping in general. And now we've just created an entire negative feedback loop that's very hard to break. And the things that are changing over the last decade or two is really screen time. Televisions have been around since the 50s, but what's happening with screen time is it's increasing more and more and more. Before, all we had was a television set, where in the evenings we would turn it on, watch the news, watch some late programming, get our popcorn, and can't wait for TGIF and watch those shows. And then we would turn off the TV, and that was it for screen time. There really wasn't much more. Then computers came into our lives, and then now we have tablets and cell phones, and these things are sitting in our pockets, and they're everywhere. We have multiple devices in our homes and at work. So screens have really taken over our lives, and we have to go back to natural ways of avoiding screen time for 90 minutes before bed, and then use magnesium or tart cherry juice as a natural sleep aid. But the removing of screens is really key, or having some downtime before we go to sleep to really give the brain a chance to get ready for sleep. Otherwise, if we turn off the screen and then roll over and go to sleep, it takes time for the brain to switch off, even though we may fall asleep. It may take it longer to fall into a shallow sleep, a deeper sleep, and even a REM sleep later into the night. And the longer we postpone that, guess what happens? It's morning and we have to wake up. So we may never get into that long REM sleep or deep sleep because we just procrastinated the body's natural ability to fall asleep. So screen time just has to shut down. If you typically go to bed at 10 p.m., just make sure by 8:30, 9 o'clock, it's done. You're just getting some tidy things done, writing some things for tomorrow, getting those little, I know everything's digital now. You're gonna be like, how am I going to do that without a screen? Piece of paper, and just getting ready for the next day, or maybe saving the household tasks that have to be done for the end of the day, getting those things done, shuffling some things around the house, filling up the dog food bowl, getting those little things done there, and then easing down and going to sleep. Another major culprit for low energy is blood sugar imbalances. Energy crashes from sugar slash carb heavy meals. So making sure our late night meals are not, or our evening meals or dinners are not super heavy loaded with carbs, because then our blood sugar spikes and that gives us a harder time to control our blood sugars. And really, we should never have carb heavy meals ever. Protein should be the source of energy for every meal. So eat protein and healthy fat with every meal to stabilize blood glucose levels, and then essentially stabilize your energy. You see this even with kids. If they get into sugar, or they have a sugar dense meal or carb dense meal, you'll see them, their energy kind of goes through the roof immediately after, as their body gets used to that sugar, and then they hit a crash. And that's really the blood sugar disruption. You'll see behavioral changes in children and in yourself too. You get lethargic, you get grumpy after 90 minutes after a heavy meal like that, because you are also crashing your energy tanks because of the blood sugar imbalances. So really prioritizing how you structure your meals. Protein heavy, 40% of the meal should be protein, 30% of the meal should be fat, and the other 30% should be carbs. Is just a well-balanced nutritional meal, and that should be the rule for every meal that you have. Breakfast, lunch, dinners, and even snacks should be reduced in carbohydrates of less than 50% of the meal's total caloric energy. And then number 3, chronic stress and the cortisol dysregulation that happens from stress. Stress comes from all different perspectives, from our life, from work, from physical, mental, emotional. They come from all different perspectives, even chemical. And the cortisol roller coaster that comes with chronic stress is what makes us feel wired all the time, but also tired, lethargic. We're wired, we're stressed, we're anxious, we're compulsive, we're obsessive, but yet still fatigued and tired. We're perfectionists. We want to get things done. This may sound like you, but we're also anxious at the same time. And then we just can't feel rested at all. We're just tired all the time. So a good tip for this is breathing, is really taking time to breathe and letting that, the stress will never go away, but to control the stress that's around us and using deep breathing to get there. Whenever you do feel stressed or panicked or anxious, to just stop, close your eyes and take a breath. Closing your eyes just gives you a chance to distract from the environment, just sets up a barrier between you and the environment. But the breathing is where the focus comes in, taking big, deep breaths in, pushing the diaphragm down and expanding the rib cage creates a parasympathetic response in the body of calmness. And there's a huge cascade that happens hormonally when we do this. Cortisol starts to reduce immediately, and some other hormones start to change as well. And it helps reduce inflammation as well. So you create this almost stress response that's happening down to more of a reduction in anxiety by controlling your breathing. You'll notice this. You'll shallow breathe, or you get more panicked the more anxious you get. It's harder to take a deeper breath. You're taking actually slow, shallow breathing, and you'll carry that into your sleep at night and shallow breathe through the night, which keeps you in this sympathetic phase of stress. So box breathing, cold exposure, it doesn't have to be a cold plunge, but even a cool shower, or just going out for a walk, just taking the dog, going for a walk and breathing when you're out there, just taking 15, 20 minutes to go for a walk and breathing helps reset your cortisol levels, which is the direct connection to how we feel with stress. The reason some people are panicked and stressed and anxious around stress is because their cortisol is dictating how they feel. Others are cool, calm, and collective under stress. And it's because they are just subconsciously doing those things. They're keeping control. These things don't faze them. Maybe they don't take it as personal as others do. And they just look at work as work and money as money. And these things, they can just let things go. These are great little tips that you can learn from people that do manage stress well on how to filter through that. Inflammation in itself, this is another thing, and toxic overload is another reason why we lose energy. We don't realize this, but the toxins are everywhere. And food is the most controlling thing that you can do with your life, is choose what you eat. The rest is around us. We have EMF frequencies, radiation from wireless devices. We've got pollution in the air. We got pollution in the water. We got pollution in the environment. We got pesticides and herbicides being sprayed on our lawns. We got stuff being sprayed out of airplanes. We got stuff all around us. It's in the air. You can't really control all that. You can use filters and do things to your home and your environment to help reduce it. But the biggest control you have is the food that you put into your mouth. And we have to start there when it comes to stress. It directly relates to inflammation when we get toxin overload. Environmental toxins, poor gut health, and processed foods are all working together against us, that where we need to step in and really filter the things that we can control. So add anti-inflammatory foods to your diet. That's where you should start off. It's hard to just revamp diets. People just go in there, I'm going to go on a diet. Why is eating healthy considered a diet in the first place? Eating healthy isn't a diet. Eating healthy is the foundation to eating, period. It's all the other things we add in there and make it sound like it's part of our diet and it's okay, that actually makes it not okay. A healthy diet is fruits, vegetables, proteins, and good fats. We know this, and they come from only good foods and whole foods. There is no processed way around this. So the fact that we add processed foods like cheese and breads and processed grains and carbohydrates to our, and packaged foods to our diet, and say, yeah, it's okay. Cereal's okay. Pancakes are okay. Boxed lunch meat is okay. Whatever it is that we're buying, it's not. And we all know this. I think we do, right? The foundation to a healthy diet is whole foods. And so the key is not to just jump into the new fad diet. The key is to start to add anti-inflammatory foods to how you eat right now. It's going to be the easiest and fastest way, because you could wake up tomorrow and do this immediately. You could just get turmeric, start adding leafy greens to your diet, buying some salmon. When was the last time you bought some wild caught salmon? Well, make sure it's tomorrow. Add that to your diet as a meal a few times a week. And then filter your water and just go fragrance free for a little bit. Stop spraying stuff on your body for a little bit. Try that for 30 days. Look what ends up happening when you add these anti-inflammatory foods to your body. Turmeric can be a supplement. You don't have to go out and buy a bunch of ginger and start mincing that into all your salads, but that's a great way as well. There's tons of these things, and you can look them up as anti-inflammatory foods and pick the top 5 and start adding those to your diet, as long as you like them. You know, if you don't like kale, don't go buy kale. You're not going to eat it. So choose the ones that you like and start adding them to your diet. This is probably the fastest way to reduce toxic overload, by adding anti-inflammatory foods to your diet. Now you're going to say, Dr. D, can I eat fast food for lunch every single day and just add turmeric? Well, you know the answer to that. The answer is going to be no. We're never going to offset bad choices with one simple good choice. It doesn't work that way. You can't smoke a pack of cigarettes and say, well, I'm going to eat 2 apples today instead of that, to offset the badness of the cigarettes. We know that doesn't make any sense. We have to eliminate or drastically reduce toxins and start to add anti-inflammatory foods in order to negate toxic overload and to negate disease. We want to try and prevent disease and maintain wellness. So these are 2 different things. Going in the direction of wellness requires doing well things. And when we slip from there, we can only fall towards disease or illness. And that's just how health works. So there is no way around this. But we can't just justify the way we've been eating the whole time, feeling tired all the time, and saying, well, it's not my fault, and playing victim. We can't. We have to make a change. We all do. And that's how it all starts, is with the next day saying, yes, I'm going to add some anti-inflammatory foods, which will then fill me up, and just naturally omit some processed foods in your body, because you just substituted deli meats with wild caught salmon. I mean, it's automatically, you're not going to eat more food. You're just going to have to substitute naturally, which is just a great way to do this for all of us that are really busy. Sedentary lifestyle is another thing that leads to fatigue. We just don't move. And movement creates mitochondrial efficiency in our body. The mitochondria are on every single cell in your body, and they're the energy hub of every cell in your body. And the more we move and the more we exercise, the more we excite mitochondrial proficiency. And when we do that, we create better ATP output, better energy output within the cell, which then gives us better energy output overall. So 10-minute movement snacks throughout the day multiple times can add up to 30, 50, 60 minutes of exercise every single day just by doing 10-minute movement breaks. You can do this at home or at work, even if you work in a cubicle, of getting up and just going for a 10-minute walk, 5 minutes one way, 5 minutes back to your office cubicle, and sit down again and do it again. And doing this multiple times per day adds those minutes to a sedentary lifestyle, which then makes your lifestyle non-sedentary, which is going in the right direction towards health and sliding away from illness, which is great. So movement, we talked about this, tons of exercise podcasts you can go back and talk about and listen to, and to motivate you about exercise. But again, we're talking about the little things that we can just start to do immediately to help us with our energy overall. And lastly, but not least, mental overload and decision fatigue. There's just way too much stuff going on right now for us to make decisions. I don't know about you, but the amount of texts, emails, and messages I get per day, direct and indirect, directly trying to get my attention and indirectly trying to solicit to me, is mind-boggling. It's hundreds. It's absolutely crazy where we're going with this. And now with AI and chatbots and autocallers, it's game over. You're just going to go from hundreds to even more hundreds of connections per day that you just literally have to ignore. And this overload is real. And we just have to start using filters and putting these things away and our devices down and ignoring emails and using smarter email filtering to make sure that stuff that ends up in your inbox really is for you, or most of it is for you. And the stuff that's in your spam and promotions is just easily deleted every week. You don't even have to look at them to move forward that way. So cognitive exhaustion is real from multitasking, screen time, and overstimulation. We put down one phone and we turn on Netflix. We turn off Netflix and we turn on an Apple device. We turn off the Apple device and we're on our smartwatch. And it's just data overload. We're always looking for the next thing for data. And I find myself picking up my own phone, wanting to go check my email or do something on my phone. And I'll go and click a social media app, or I'll go and click the wrong app and get sucked into that for 3 minutes. I'm like, what was I going to do? What am I doing? Why am I scrolling this? Why am I checking the messages inside of my Instagram account? What's going on? I didn't mean to do this. And it's just that quick touch that's happening because of repetitive behavior. So that cognitive exhaustion is real. So a great tip for this is to create mental white space. No phone mornings, walk without headphones, digital detox days where you just don't. I've caught myself, even all the working out that I do and going to the gym, I still bring my headphones and I'm listening to music or a podcast, just constantly downloading information all the time. Sometimes it's just nice to not. I tried to do that the other day at my gym and they're still blasting the music in there. So there really is no quiet, but going for a quiet walk with nothing in your ears can be a great 20-minute exercise that you do almost every day, but definitely maybe using the weekends for that to just offload and just turn off the devices. We need to do this. As devices and technology keep moving forward, we're going to have to get these out of our face, especially with AI. So here are some signs that you are running on empty. These are red flags. Definitely have to take a look at these because this is what's declining your energy overall. I've got like 5 or 6 points here. Mid-afternoon crashes. If you're getting to 12, 1, 2 o'clock and you're starting to crash, that's a sign that your energy is blundered. Reliance on caffeine to function. Waking up in the morning and the first thing you do is pouring a coffee is not the worst thing in the world. But getting to that 10 o'clock point and being like, man, I need another coffee, that's what we're talking about. That caffeine to function issue is a red flag showing that your reliance on caffeine or stimulation is needed to produce energy or maintain energy to get you through the morning. That's one. Brain fog or memory lapses. If you're noticing that, that is directly related to chronic energy decrease. Irritability or low mood over time and constantly day in and day out, that's a huge red flag as well. Low motivation. Maybe you're always a motivational person, and then all of a sudden your motivation is starting to decrease or taking a dive. That's a sign as well of low energy. Nothing really here that's surprising anyone, but these are the top red flags. Poor workout recovery. Let's say you do decide to start going to the gym and it's not your first week, but you've been doing it for a month or two and you're still taking time to recover afterwards and you're not getting that post recovery time down and just taking time. That's because you've been fatigued for so long. Keep plugging at the gym. Don't quit that, but understand that you're going to have to work your way through increasing that recovery. And it's going to come through diet and nutrition by getting in more anti-inflammatory foods and reducing the inflammation and toxic overload that's coming through your diet. You're going to just have to slowly work and clean that up. That's going to be how you get that. And digestive issues. If you're starting to get more and more digestive issues, it's happening because of gut fatigue, which comes from total fatigue in the body. So fatigue is a symptom. It's not a diagnosis. Your body is asking for change. And that's why you're listening to this podcast still and you haven't given up. It's because this is how you're going to make change. And we really need to know what the science is behind energy and what creates it. Your mitochondria is where your energy factories all of the cell's ATP. Every cell relies on mitochondrial function. Damaged mitochondria is what equals low cellular energy. And you damage your mitochondria over time. How? By toxic overload, influenced by toxins, stress, and lack of nutrients. So foundational energy drivers are oxygen. You got to breathe deeper, not more. You don't need to put an oxygen tank to your nose and get more O2. What you need to do is get deeper breaths to pump oxygen deeper into your cells. Nutrients, coenzyme Q10, B vitamins, magnesium, iron if necessary, and vitamin D are the key nutrients your mitochondria absolutely need to live and flourish at higher potential. Coenzyme Q10 can be a game changer for many people, and it's safe for you to go and get right now. Don't need a doctor's supervision. Doesn't really commingle with anything else. Heart-related, diabetes, anything, it's okay. You can add this to your diet. Just follow the instructions on the bottle. But nutrients can be the main driver here, the lack of them, and that's why we run into a lot of problems. Light. Direct sunlight sets circadian rhythm and boosts your mitochondria. Your mitochondria directly respond to the circadian rhythm, meaning your sleep cycle. So if you're getting poor sleep and we're not getting much sunlight, we're just creating an environment of poor energy all around. Light can be a huge thing. Just going outside, getting some direct sunlight can play a huge role in how you feel overall and trying to make that a daily event. And of course, we talked about movement. Resistance training, zone 2 cardio, or combining those two together is probably the best combination you can do. Lifting some heavy weight, putting some zone 2 cardio, which is steady state cardio, keeping your heart rate about 120 beats a minute for 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever you want to do, is probably the best combination for mitochondrial influence in the body and cellular activity. Fatigue is often mitochondrial dysfunction in disguise. Your job is to repair and feed the mitochondria. You do that with exercise and nutrition. Oh, go figure. Every single podcast I've ever done is probably about exercise and food and nutrition, right? No real weird things in this podcast. Nothing out of the ordinary today, but the focus on certain and direct supplements like coenzyme Q10 can be game changers for most people. So reversing fatigue, you just have to have a new daily energy blueprint. So in the morning, wake with sunlight within 30 minutes. So you wake up, try and get some direct sunlight. This can be just by opening up a window and just getting it through the window. Seeing that sun. For shift workers, they'll understand why this is important. They wake up at 1 a.m, it's completely pitch dark. They get their morning going, they get in their car and they're driving, it's still pitch dark. They're missing that direct thing. But that happens with shift workers. And also in the winter up north too, just with the shorter days. We may not be able to do that within the first 30 minutes of waking because we don't want to wake up at 10 in the morning up in Alaska, right? So these are the little things there. If you can get that sunlight within 30 minutes of waking up, 20 to 30 ounces of water with a pinch of salt. You can even add a little squeeze of lemon in there if you want, but the 20, 30 ounces of water with a pinch of salt, Himalayan or Celtic sea salt, sprinkle it in there, drink that 20-ounce glass of water upon waking, And that gives you an electrolyte start to the day. Then we want to get 5 to 10 minutes of movement, brisk walk or body weight circuit or whatever you're going to do, a set of burpees or taking the dog out for a quick 10-minute walk and coming back in, and then eating a protein-rich breakfast. 20 to 30 grams minimum, I would do for most adults, of protein for your breakfast. This comes with egg whites, oatmeal, sausage. Some grains can be packed with proteins as well. But starting your day with that and not so much on the carbs or sugars. That's a great morning routine. Midday, we want to do a mid-morning, ashwagandha, rhodiola, a herbal adaptogens that you can add mid-morning. You can also just take them in the morning as well as supplements. But take breaks every 90 minutes. Stand, stretch, step outside, do something to break the sedentary day. Balanced lunch. Again, we talked about this. Proteins first, veggies, and slow digesting carbs, complex carbohydrates instead of the simple stuff. Then by the time evening comes around, power down 1 hour before bed. Just screens come on off, lights low, gratitude, journaling, meditation, prayer, parasympathetic activation, deep breathing, stretching on the floor, doing some of your dinner roll or curve work for your spine and your nervous system, whatever it is, just taking some time to do that and sleep in a cold, dark room, cooler room. Just to make sure it's a cooler room that we find we sleep better, most of us, because of our 98-degree body temperatures. We sleep better in a 65 to 69 degree Fahrenheit room or like a 16, 17, 18 degree Celsius room. That's where most people do really well. Some of you are like, man, that's cold. But less than 20 degrees Celsius, less than 70 degrees Fahrenheit is the optimal range there. For us in Florida, that's expensive to get the AC down that low. So I'm perfectly cool with 74 degrees at night with no sheets. That's how I do it here in Florida. But within reason, right? Within your environment. Here's some bonus habits as well for the long game. For those of you that are motivated, you're like, man, my energy's been an issue for 10 years. This is great. I'm just going to add some anti-inflammatory foods. I'm going to add some supplements, and I'm going to just take some breaks and shut off power 1 hour before bedtime. I think you listen to this podcast, you got a great start to it. But try intermittent fasting. You want to really get your energy back quickly? 12 to 14 hour fasts, which means you don't eat food for 12 to 14 hours. Pretty easy if you eat your dinner by 6, 7 o'clock p.m. and not eat breakfast until the next day at 7 a.m., 7, 8 a.m. You're giving yourself that 12, 13 hour of fast, which helps improve your metabolism. So if you eat late, if you snack at 8, 9, 10 o'clock, you grab something, mixed nuts, you just ate something, at 10 o'clock at night, then you can't eat the next day until 10 o'clock in the morning. Try this. Test yourself with it. See how that goes. You'll notice even that 12-hour intermittent fasting, how well it goes. And if it boosts how you feel, you may want to move to 16 hours where you start skipping breakfast for a while and just eating, your lunch, snack, and dinner during the day to really get your mitochondria fired up. Eliminate processed foods and seed oils. The rancid oils in our diet crash our entire metabolism, crash our energy, crash our hormones, crash a bunch of issues in the body, and actually can lead to disease, arteriosclerosis, plaquing, cardiac disease, liver disease. It can create a lot of issues. And when we talk about seed oils, talking about like any canola oil, vegetable oil, sesame oil, like all the seeds, they just don't hold well. And they degrade very quick, and their fatty acid chains break down, which considers them rancid. And using it to cook or eating processed foods with this in it, and believe me not, most processed foods use cheap oils. They just do. If it's boxed or canned or any way to preserve food on a shelf, they use the bad. You can't put good coconut oil or olive oil and leave it to be shelf stable for too long because it'll just go bad. The bacteria love it. They'll eat it. So that's the issue there. So they typically use lower grade oils, and they're also cheaper for processed foods to keep processed foods cheap. It just makes sense. So try and avoid those things. Test for nutrient deficiencies. I would do this, especially over the age of 30. I would start testing for nutrient deficiencies as far as your B vitamins, B12, iron, your thyroid, checking these things to see what's going on. You may have microcytic anemia or a low anemia issue that's dragging your energy down. And use movement to energize, not deplete yourself. So these hardcore exercises people get themselves into, high intensity, long running, 60-minute runs, can actually deplete your mitochondria over time. It's hard workouts. So doing 15, 20-minute workouts probably is going to be better for you than grinding long or high intensity over and over again. So if you're having low energy, diving into a major fitness program where it's high intensity and hard on the body and tons of reps may not give you the result of better energy. You may wonder why you're still having low energy. It's because you're depleting yourself physically now and distracting yourself mentally with the physical in a good way, because you're trying to exercise, but you're pushing yourself too hard. So little things there. So here's a top 10 thing if you want to just jot these things down. Walk barefoot on grass. Grounding can help the charge in the body. We are polarized because we're just made up of the universe. We're just a bunch of atoms, and we have positive and negative charges. By putting our feet on the ground, we ground ourselves, which can help with oxidative stresses. Cold showers, even 30 seconds, just at the very end of your shower, just making it cold for the final 30 seconds. Drinking water with minerals in it, even a pinch of salt. Breathe deeply for 60 seconds, just taking 1 minute a few times a day where you just focus on your breathing. Power naps on the weekend, maybe on Sundays, you just make it a thing at 2:00 in the afternoon. You take a 15-minute power nap on the couch. I find that even if just 15 minutes of quiet around the house, if I get that, I'm already snoozing. So that's a great way to do it. Laugh or listen to music you love. Put on the stuff that you enjoy. That's when you put on the headphones. Eat something green every single day. Swap coffee for matcha 2 times per week. Turn off your Wi-Fi at night. That's for EMF radiation. Just turn it off. You don't need it. You're going to sleep. And schedule something to look forward to, whether it's this weekend coming up, in a month, hotel stay, maybe plan for the next big vacation. Even just having something on the schedule to look forward to boosts your morale. If you want more energy, you don't need more caffeine. You need more alignment. So my challenge to you is pick 3 habits from today's podcast and commit to them for 7 days. If you want some motivation, if you need some accountability, DM us at Full Life Chiropractic, at Full Life Tampa, info at Full Life Tampa, Instagram. Find me, Enrico Dolcecore, on social media, and DM me your progress. Let me know how you're doing. We'll hold you accountable. And just for listening to the podcast, just ask for the 7-day energy reset, and we'll email you the PDF. It gives you a 7-day accountability. Print it, leave it on your fridge for 7 days to show you the tips that you may be able to follow and help you with your energy. Stay well, stay healthy, and take care.
Thanks so much for tuning into this episode of Living a Full Life podcast. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to rate, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. That helps others find the show, and we greatly appreciate it. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next episode.